Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün İrlanda'nın en önde gelen üniversitelerinden Immaculate College'da eğitim ve çalışma olanaklarını Allison'dan dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayın. Yes, Allison, the stage is yours now.
Thank you so much. Hello everybody, my name is Alison. Thank you very much for joining today. I am going to share my screen now because I have a little PowerPoint to go along with my with my presentation, but don't worry, it's not going to be so heavy and full of text that you won't actually like it. It's actually hopefully just going to give you more of a visual of the college and see what it is. Very hard as an international student to know what you're coming into when you've never seen the campus. So this is really an opportunity for you not just to learn about it, but to hopefully get a bit of a visual on who we are and get an idea of Limerick City as well. So I work in the international office at MIC. While it is Mary Immaculate College, we call it MIC for short. Just going to take you to the first slide here. This picture is one of our oldest buildings. It's called the Foundation Building. It was established in 1898. So it's quite a number of years old, but it obviously has been modified in the meantime. But the college is very much a mix of old buildings and new buildings. This, as I said, this is one of our older ones, but you'll see on the next slide we have one of the newer buildings. So as I said, we were founded in 1898. We are an inclusive multi-level campus and we do education and liberal arts. So that's a little idea of what we do. As I mentioned, we are a mixed campus with older and newer architecture. This is one of our newer buildings and this hosts our Lime Tree Theatre as well as a load of new classrooms, technology, all of that. So we offer undergraduate programs as well as a range of graduate programs at diploma, master's and PhD level. Additional subjects available to our international students include English as a foreign language and English for academic purposes. So there's really a lot there to offer students depending on what your interest is. The campus itself, it's a friendly, walkable campus and we're located in Limerick City. The reason we say walkable is some campuses are located very much outside the city centre and you need to get public transport in order to access the city. But with us, it's literally just a 15-minute walk maximum to the city centre. That also means that we have a lot of accommodation options around us as well because we're very much a suburb area. So a lot of people have bought houses and apartments that they let out to students. So while we have our own college campus accommodation, there is option for cheaper accommodation if you want to go privately. So at the moment we're looking at about 5,000 students and that's growing all the time. In terms of international students, when it's not COVID, when it's normal, we have about 500 international students who would visit us every year. So there's always something going on. Just a little bit more on the accommodation there. As I mentioned, we have a lot of private around us on the campus, but if you want to go for college campus accommodation, we have a lot of different options there as well. The cost can be between 2,300 or 2,500 euro per semester, and you really will get all the services there as well. Those prices would generally include your utility bills, so your heating, your lighting and electricity, and your Wi-Fi as well. And of course, the international office would help you pick out the option that suits you best. In terms of Limerick then, we are a riverside student city on the west coast of Ireland and 30,000 students call it home. While we are Ireland's third largest city, the city population is actually only 100,000. So you'll see if we have 30,000 students, that's nearly a third of the population of the city who are students. That benefits students very well because there are so many different social events that will be organised. any of the spots in town, like the nightclubs or pubs. They will have special student nights geared for discounts if you show your student card. So there really is a benefit to being in a city that is actually geared towards students. There's 3 higher education institutes in Limerick, and that's why there's so many. We also have our own airport, Shannon International Airport, and that is just 20 minutes from MIC. So if you do actually arrive into Shannon Airport your very first time, we will arrange for a driver to pick you up from the airport and bring you to your accommodation in the city. So there's really a lot to offer there. As you can see, the river is a big part of the city, and in the summertime we have actually coming up in the next few weeks, we have something called the River Fest. It has had to be moved online this year for obvious reasons, but it's a long weekend of events all centered around the river. There's also loads of restaurants around the river as well, outside dining in the summer. So yeah, there really is a lot there for everybody. In terms of where we are, I know people are probably more familiar with Dublin, which is on the right-hand side of the map there, and Limerick is on the left-hand side of the map. But that's really only a 2-hour to 2.5-hour drive from Limerick City to Dublin. The main benefit of that is prices in Dublin, even student accommodation, is incredibly expensive. And like I mentioned, you might have to be living further out, so have to get public transport a lot to actually get into the college or the city. So with Limerick, as I said, you know, you're very close to everything with MIC, and as well as that, we're actually a low-cost city, so the cost of accommodation is definitely more friendly towards students. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information now about our programs. I'll start with undergraduate. We have a very, very strong liberal arts program, and it's very popular with international students. I'll explain that to you in a bit more detail. The Bachelor of Arts, basically you'll see a list of subjects there. So with the Bachelor of Arts, you actually choose 4 of those subjects in first year. And it's more a chance for people who don't really know what they want to focus on. It's a chance for them to try out different subjects. And then by the time they finish first year, they should know which 2 subjects they like the most, and they will actually take those subjects into second year and then finally to the end of their degree and graduate with a double major. So for instance, you might do psychology with history or psychology with media. There's so many different options there, and I think that's why it appeals to students so much. Another program we have, it's a little bit more niche, but it's an excellent program if this is what you are interested in. It's our BA in Contemporary and Applied Theatre Studies. And what you'll see there is the Lime Tree Theatre. That is the one we have on campus, but it's not just a student theatre. This is actually a national theatre, and there's always performances there, so students can get discounts to see them. Additionally, it means if you're on this program, you get to work behind the scenes on all of these national shows that come to the Lime Tree Theatre. And then pretty much that's your classroom for the year as well, or for the 4 years. So it is a fantastic program. And just to explain, this one doesn't specifically focus on performance. What it does, there is an element of performance, but it actually focuses on the technical side as well. So if you prefer to be behind the scenes, maybe doing lighting or technical work, anything like that, that's another aspect of this program as well. So it's one of the first of its kind to be set up in Ireland. Another one that our international students really like is the BA in Early Childhood Care and Education. So this one specifically focuses on care and education of young children. So that's from birth to 6 years of age. And why this is a bit like theatre program in that it's very practical, very hands-on. So throughout the 4 years of this program, you will study in the classroom, but then almost immediately you will be out in a childcare setting, putting what you've learned into practice. And that's throughout the 4 years. So by the time you actually graduate, you've got your degree and you've got experience. So the placement opportunities provided for students are in playgroups, daycare centres, creches, early start units and preschools, and that's throughout the duration of the programme. We have a second campus in Thurles, County Tipperary, and that is about an hour away from the main campus of Limerick. That campus specifically focuses on training teachers for second level or high school education. And the programme we can actually offer international students is a concurrent teacher education with a business qualification. So you're doing a BA in Education Business Studies, and the third subject is either accounting, mathematics, or religious studies. And basically, you are qualified to either work in business or to teach business as well. So you're pretty much getting a double qualification there again. Something to remember about our degrees is that a degree from MIC is transferable worldwide. So basically, fully recognised internationally through the Irish National Framework of Qualifications and the European Credit Transfer and Accumulation System. If you want to work after college, if you want to go on to further education, if you want to do that at home or in another country, your MIC degree is transferable for anything you would like there. And what is the cost? Well, our tuition fees for all of our undergraduate programs are just €11,128 per year. That's definitely one of the best value prices that I have seen from any of the offerings. And payment plans can be arranged with our student fees office in advance so that payments can be split into smaller increments. You are not asked to pay €11,000 upfront. You might be asked for a down payment, and then anything after that would be, they will look at your circumstances and your needs and put a payment plan in place for you. So something else that's a bit of a money saver, the BA in Liberal Arts and the BA in Contemporary and Applied Theatre Studies, while they are both four-year programs, you actually have the option to do the two of those in just 3 years and save the cost of tuition of a fourth academic year. The reason for that is the third year on both of those programs is an off-campus study abroad year. But as an international student, we already think you're getting your study abroad experience. So essentially, that option, it's not compulsory for you. If you decide you would like to do third year and study with one of our institutions abroad, you can certainly do that. But if you would like to go straight from second year into fourth year and get your degree in 3 years, that is most definitely an option for you as well. Now, if you do want to do third year and study abroad, you would complete either a semester or a year abroad for study or for work placement. And then you choose from our university partners across the EU, the United States, Latin America, Asia, and Australia. So there's really a lot of diversity there, a lot of different options for students. Everybody is very different. So you see really what works for you, and then we can make that happen. Now, something that our international students have really started to embrace is doing their degree in 3 years, and then in year 4, they actually decide to do a master's. So after 4 years in Ireland, they're not just coming back with a degree, they're coming back with a master's, which is a fantastic and very unique opportunity. The masters in Ireland are generally just 1 year. Now, that does mean they're quite compacted. There's a lot in there, a lot of work to complete, but it is just 1 year, and you have your MA at qualification after that. So these cost in the region of €9,000 to €11,000. Again, it does depend which one you want to do, and the programs are all 1 year and full time. Just to give you a little overview, if you would like to do a taught postgraduate in liberal arts, so if it's taught, it means it's again classroom based. We have a very popular one in applied linguistics, and that's an MA or a structured PhD. You can do an MA in history or in media studies, in modern English literature, or a structured PhD in contemporary Irish studies. So these are all offered in, again, a classroom basis where you would learn and then submit your dissertation at the end. In terms of education then, it's again is very popular with international students because Ireland is synonymous with strong education. So getting a qualification really does stand to people when they go back home to teach. So we offer a Master of Education or a structured PhD in education. And then we also have an online program. You can either do a graduate certificate, diploma, or Master of Education in middle leadership and mentoring in school settings. So again, there's a few different options for students. And then, of course, if you would like to do a research postgrad, that means there really isn't any classroom. It's you pick your subject matter that you want to study, either at master's level or PhD, and you are appointed a supervisor who will basically supervise you to make sure that you submit the research proposal that will get you the best grades. So you can do either an MA or PhD in arts by research or in education by research. You have both levels there that you can choose from. In terms of the campus then, we have excellent student support services for our students. We have a chaplaincy, counselling service, medical centre, health promotion unit, academic learning centre, student parent support and students union. And the students union, it's very important in Ireland because it very much plays an important part in linking students to the academic side. For instance, if you have a problem with a lecturer, anything like that, you go to the Students' Union, they can help you. Some general problems around the campus, they've always got your back. And actually every year there is an election, so you actually elect your Students' Union president. And of course, once you've been in the college for years, you're eligible to go for that yourself. So there's a lot there for students. And we also have many sports facilities on the campus. But as I mentioned, we're so close to the city, you can avail of any of those as well. Some of the Irish sports include hurling and Gaelic football, so there's always something new to try. But we would have 2 large sports pitches for any sport you like. We have a basketball court, table tennis, there's a gym, and there's also exercise classes and gym classes, and there's a student discount for all of those as well. So they're all on campus, and students are very much encouraged to be active as well while they're doing their studies. So our international students, it's just very important to know that you do have added support. So the international office is open for international students to drop in anytime, and we will help you with anything. But equally, it's very important that you are fully integrated with Irish students. So we will help you with anything, but there's a good opportunity for you to be integrated as well. So with your accommodation, you're living with Irish students. Also, the Students' Union look after the clubs and societies, and we have a thriving culture on campus for that. If there is a club or society that you're particularly interested in and it hasn't been established yet, then you're actually able to set one up yourself. With just 5,000 students, we can have smaller class sizes. That means you get to know your fellow students very well, but it also means there's an excellent student-lecturer ratios. So your lecturers will actually know you very well, know your capabilities, and bring out the best for you. So with 5,000 students, you'd call it a medium-sized campus. It's not big enough to be anonymous in, but you would see familiar faces around the campus every day. So in terms of entry requirements and applications, you would need to have your high school diploma with good grades, and that's plus a year of a bachelor's degree or a year of international foundation studies. Now, if you have your high school diploma, but you don't have the 1-year bachelor degree or a foundation year, we can actually help provide you with an international foundation year, and that will give you a pathway into MIC. You also have to have good English because all of our classes are conducted in English, so a minimum level of IELTS 6.5. Now, many students have been asking, how are you during the pandemic? Have you moved online? So we moved everything online in September. We kept thinking we'd be able to go back on campus at some stage. It hasn't happened yet. So at the moment, vaccinations are ongoing in the country. They're doing it by age, so the elderly people and more vulnerable people have been done first, but they are saying 80% of the population will actually be vaccinated by June. the more that are vaccinated, the better chance the college has of opening up and being on campus again. So we are very, very hopeful that we will get to be on campus in September. If it doesn't happen immediately in September, the college will stay online initially, but we are very, very hopeful that we can open up again. Basically, even if it's not September, it'll be sometime before Christmas. So we just have to keep our fingers crossed there and see how that goes. So that's my brief introduction. My name is Alison, as I said. This is my email address. It's alison.ryan@mic.ul.ie. So I work basically every day, Monday to Friday. I am free to answer any questions you have. I am also free to set up a one-to-one call with you if you'd like to talk to me about anything, just anything more specific that I haven't covered. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I will have a look and see if we have any questions from anybody, because I know that sometimes the best way is to actually say the questions out loud, answer them out loud, and then that means everybody gets the answer. But there's really no problem if any of you feel there's a question there that I'm not getting to, you're not hearing the answer you want, you may be too shy to ask me. You can contact me by email and we can actually set up a call as well if that's something that would work for you. So just go through some of the questions here. So can we apply for the theatre program with a video portfolio, or do we have to take a talent test? Okay, so we don't actually require a portfolio for the theatre program. What will actually happen is you would send me your application form. Once it meets the educational requirements, I would actually set up an interview. It's more of an informal interview with the head of department. So Dr. Mike Finneran is the head of that department, and the classes are very, very small. They're in the theatre program, there might only be 10, so you're a very, very close-knit class. So it's important that anybody who joins it is actually that everybody fits well together. But we do have a few international students on the program and they absolutely love it. So once the educational requirements are met, I would set up the interview, and I have to say Dr. Finneran is one of the most fantastic lecturers on campus. If you met him, you'd understand why he's in theatre. He's really, really excellent. So I'm very happy to help you further on that if you have any questions on it. So there is no engineering department in MIC? No, there isn't. We are a college very much liberal arts and education. As you saw probably from all the subjects listed, there is a lot that come under liberal arts. I know I was very surprised to see mathematics under liberal arts, but it's there. But that does mean, yeah, we don't have engineering or sciences or anything like that. So I know with the mathematics you would do IT but it's, again, it wouldn't be high level IT if you're specifically interested in that side of it. So next, what is the minimum GPA requirement for master programs? I believe it is a 3.0 GPA. I can certainly look into that too. I know historically it has been, but sometimes if you have the relevant experience, that can be looked at if results aren't completely up to the standard. It does depend again on the program you want. So that's something to keep in mind. I know, for example, the Master of Education that has very, very stringent requirements. However, there are some people who have 20 years teaching experience, and so they mightn't have the GPA, but that experience is something that's going to stand to them. That's always taken into consideration. So you can always test out the waters and ask for some advice before applying if you need to do that. So another question, how about living expenses in Limerick, especially accommodation expenses if we prefer to accommodate out of campus? Yes, it really does depend. I really only know that if you want to live on campus, you could be paying $2,300 per semester. I do know it can be less if you're renting a room. So a lot of the houses are owned by private people and they rent it out to students. You might get 4 students in the house, maybe, gosh, I wouldn't really be able to say how much, but I know that some students, they might like to stay in student accommodation in first year, then they make a few friends and they say, hey, in second year, we're going to find our own place. And they have said that you can find places a bit cheaper. As I said, Limerick is actually a low-cost city, so you should find that actually it's not that expensive anyway, certainly compared to the rest of the country. So the conditions to study at the Faculty of Sports Sciences. We don't actually have a Faculty of Sports Sciences. Again, we're very much, it's everything that I have outlined in the presentation is what we offer, very much on the education side and on the arts side as well, and all the subjects there that fall under the arts program. So we don't actually have sports sciences. I know as part of education, sport is part of the curriculum for teaching kids, but it's not actually on its own an actual program that we offer. Okay, if we pay in one go for school payments, can we have a campaign or something? Do you mean a discount? I'm not really sure what you mean by that. What I would say is that we don't actually offer scholarships or discounts. That's because we have actually, we charge students the bare minimum that we need to charge just to cover our costs. And we can't actually afford to go any lower with that. So the price you see is actually the price across the board. Now, certainly for when students are in the college, there's actually awards given for high performers. So once you're in the college, there's actually a chance to get money off your next year and your year after that. But certainly coming in, there isn't an international scholarship scheme available. Okay. So would it be necessary to go there for a master's degree? I want to study English literature. Where can I work in Ireland after graduation? Okay, we actually do have a program for English literature. I don't really understand the question. You don't want to be an academic, so would it be necessary? Oh, so you're wondering, do you need to get a master's to work? Just not really sure what you're asking. I do not want to be an academic. Would it be necessary to go there for a master's degree? I want to study English literature. Where can I work in Ireland after graduation? But we do offer an English literature master's. You don't have to get a master's if you want to work. I don't know what you want to work in. I'm sorry. If you want to give me a bit more information on what exactly you're looking for, I can answer that question a little bit better. Sorry about that. So could you please inform us about language requirements? Is Duolingo also accepted? Yes, so it's a 6.5 IELTS, but because of the pandemic, we know a lot of centres are not operating. So we have we are temporarily accepting Duolingo, and I'm nearly sure it's 110. I would actually have to double check that. IELTS is the standard one, so if there's ever any queries other than that, I do have to look it up because I don't have the other scores off the top of my head. But we do accept TOEFL, we accept Duolingo, and that's no problem at all. Okay, can you please inform about graduation percentage if you have statistic about it? We have a very high retention rate, and anybody who comes in first year, I think we have about 94% who will stay on the program and graduate. So we do actually have a very, very high student retention rate. I hope that answers your question. Are you able to work after graduation? Also, is there job placement help for graduates? So if you do the undergraduate with us, there is a 1-year stay back. And if you do a master's program, there is a 2-year stay back. In terms of job placement, if you decide you're going to do year 3 on the undergrad program, then there is actually a placement office who will place you for your internship pretty much. In terms of graduation, there isn't an office to help you getting a job after graduation. However, because the master's classes will be quite small, you will have a good relationship with your lecturer. and some of them are actually very, very good to help you and to share their contacts with you. So I hope that answers that question. Can we get a part-time permit while studying in Ireland? Why, yes, you can. So the visa that you get will actually allow you to work, and during term time it's 20 hours per week. But if there's holiday time, like if you're staying over Christmas, or any other time that there's time off, weeks off, you can actually work 40 hours a week during that time. So that's certainly an option for students as well. Okay, we have another one. I'm going to high school now and have good artificial intelligence programs. Can I do an internship or work at university in the summer or another time before going? So it's really, a lot of the jobs on campus go to students, and also we don't offer artificial intelligence. As I mentioned, we're liberal arts and education. If you want to do work at the university, I'm not sure that would take a little bit more looking into. I really only look at recruiting students, so recruiting for work is slightly different. But if you want to contact me on the email address that I gave, I'll be able to look into it in a bit more detail for you on that one. So what are the conditions to study? So that if it's the undergraduate you're looking to do, it's your degree with good grades, either 1 year of a bachelor's degree or an international foundation year. And then if you don't have the 1 year of bachelor or foundation year, you can actually do a foundation year through Immaculate College, and you will do the foundation year, which is a pathway then onto studying with us. So there's a few different options there for you, depending on what you actually have for you at the moment. Okay, and I think we have another one here. Housing options for first-year students. So we have on campus, that is just for first years, and we have another student accommodation. It's just a 10-minute walk from campus, and that is from first years to fourth years. And then we actually have an international house as well. So it's an 8-bedroom house, and it's really reserved just for international students, and that's pretty much on campus as well. Accommodation, the way it works in Ireland is on campus, they're all individual bedrooms with massive shared living facilities, like kitchens with 8 or 10 fridges and couches and all of that. And then if you go to the off campus, it's about 10 minutes away, they're apartments. So 4-bedroom apartments. You'll have your own bedroom, you'll share with 3 other people, and you'll just share your living space and your kitchen. So there really is different options for students, and again, we can advise you when you contact us. You can tell us your needs, we can advise you what's available and what will actually work for you. How is the pandemic situation in Ireland? Will education be online or on-site for the new academic year? Yeah, as I explained, we are just rolling out our vaccinations now. It really does depend how that goes. If a high proportion of the population are vaccinated by the time September happens, we will very happily go back to campus learning again. At the moment, we are still online. We have been online since September last year. And we really very much want to get back on campus, but it's a question of safety for everybody. We're very carefully monitoring it. It's still only April. It's so hard to call. We thought we'd be on campus now, and it hasn't happened. So it's like anything, we're keeping an eye on it. We're very hopeful, but at the end of the day, it will come down to safety and if enough people are vaccinated to allow us to move back on campus. So somebody here has asked if they need to get IB lessons to get accepted. Well, the benefit of doing the IB is that it's direct entry. So you do not need to have 1 year of college completed. You do not need to have an international foundation year completed. If you do IB exams, you can actually get direct entry into Mary Immaculate College. So while we don't specifically request them, if you wish to skip that additional year of international foundation studies, it is in your benefit to do the IB exams. So I think that's it. And I hope I've answered all your questions. As mentioned, if I haven't, please don't hesitate to contact me. I know it can be quite daunting when it's a public forum, so I'm very, very happy to answer any more questions for you. And I will say again, we are very, very hopeful to get back on campus for September. We just have to, you know, keep everything crossed and see how that's going to work out. But if any of you have any questions at any stage, just let me know, and I'd be happy to share any new updates with you. Okay, so I think that has taken us to the end. I don't see any more questions. Oh yes, somebody has asked me to write my email into the chat, so I will do that now. Here we go. So that is alison.ryan@mic.ul.ie. I'd be very happy to get any questions from you.
Yes, thank you very much for your answers, Alison. I think you covered all of the questions.
I think so. Yeah, I don't see any more questions there, so I think, yeah, they're all covered.
Okay, then, thank you for your fantastic presentation. We believe it was a really informative webinar for the attendees.
And thank you for inviting me and letting me do this. And thank you, everybody, for turning up. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Also, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Immaculate College ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için Alison'un paylaşmış olduğu mail adresinden iletişime geçebilirsiniz. Aynı zamanda sizi 6'daki webinarımıza da davet etmek isteriz. Thank you again, Alison. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Oh, and thank you again. Good luck, everyone. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.